We'd like to call the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting of April 19th to order. If you'll please stand and join us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This time we'd like to introduce the board members, starting on my right.
Nancy Plesnarski.
Gary Willis.
Jim Hilly.
Scott Kilgore.
Todd Chernick.
Has everybody had a chance to look at the March meeting minutes? If they have, I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I need a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving March meetings, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign.
Oh, you're
You
right.
have to abstain. He's abstaining.
Scott Kilgore second. He also
I read them,
abstained.
but I always.
He has to abstain because he wasn't here. The Board of Zoning Appeals is a quasi-legal board composed of resident volunteers of the City of Milton. The board is charged with hearing requests for variances from the standards of the zoning ordinance and appeals of administrative determinations. With regard to decisions on primary variances, the board's basis for decision is provided by these considerations. A, relief if granted would not offend the spirit or intent of the ordinance. And B, there are such extraordinary and exceptional situations or conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property that the literal or strict application of the ordinance would create an unnecessary hardship due to size, shape, or topography, or other extraordinary and exceptional situations or conditions not caused by the variance applicant. And C, relief if granted would not cause a substantial detriment to the public good and surrounding properties. And D, that the public safety, health, and welfare are secured and the substantial justice is done. This time we'd like to hear V11-095 to reduce the side yard setback from 25 to 18 feet along the east property line. Angela, will you please present?
Petition number B11-5, 195 Black Rock Trace. Background, the site is a single-family home located on 1.38 acres in the Redstone subdivision. The property is zoned AG1 and is located in the Northwest Fulton overlay. Because they intend to remain at this property for many years to come, the owners are undertaking an addition to the home, which includes a pool, fire pit, outside kitchen, and a 3-car garage. The applicant states that this garage would allow for multiple cars to be parked inside of a building, thus eliminating the needs for cars to be parked in the driveway. Mr. French is also anticipating his mother moving into the family home in the future. The materials used on the addition will match the existing house. The addition will encroach into the 25-foot eastern side yard by approximately 7 feet, reducing the setback to 18 feet. Section 64-416C states that the side yard setback for AG1 property is 25 feet. Therefore, a variance is required. Design Review Board Courtesy Review. Courtesy review was performed by the City of Milton Design Review Board on April 12, 2011. The board offered the following comments. Hardship seems to be self-created. Why can't they move the garage back? Provide pictures, etc., to show that the topography may be a valid hardship, and show that this does not negatively impact the neighbors. Additional department comments. At a focus meeting held on April 12, 2011, the following comments were provided. Building plan reviews, site plan review, and DOT all had no issues. The arborist stated that no specimens trees seem to be impacted. Any trees that are impacted will be recompensed per the tree ordinance requirements. Standards for consideration. The approval of a variance is based on the following considerations. Relief, if granted, would not offend the spirit or intent of the ordinance. There are such extraordinary and exceptional situations or conditions pertaining to this particular piece of property that the literal or strict application of the ordinance would create an unnecessary hardship due to size, shape, or topography, or other extraordinary and exceptional situations or conditions not caused by the variance applicant. Relief, if granted, would not cause a substantial detriment to the public good and surrounding properties, that the public safety, health, and welfare are secured, and that substantial justice is done. The applicant responds as follows. Both the topography and direction of the house and the direction that the house faces creates a hardship for the applicant. This variance request is necessary because the topography of the lot is steep, and if the garage corner were to be moved further back on the lot and out of the setback, a substantial amount of dirt would have to be moved for construction. Further, moving the garage back could also necessitate the removal of additional trees. This house does not face parallel to the street. The garage placement was chosen based on the current location of the driveway and parking pad. If the variance is granted, it would not cause a substantial detriment to the public good and surrounding properties. The neighbors to each side of the property have submitted a letter giving their approval of the variance request. The construction, once complete, will not be noticeable from the driveway of either of the neighbors. Lastly, the public safety, health, and welfare will remain secured, and substantial justice will be served if this variance is granted. Should the board choose to approve this application, staff recommends the following conditions. Staff has no conditions at this time. Also, for the board, I'd like to note that the applicant has submitted letters from the adjacent neighbors. I have those on file if anybody is interested in seeing those. These are the Springs at 205 Black Rock Trace, and Larry Smith and Susan Booth at 190 Black Rock Trace. Neither of the neighbors have objections to the building proposed project. Couple additional handouts for you. I have a schematic of the addition to the house, and I believe the applicant has and this is a copy of his presentation.
Any questions for staff from the board?
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Mark Law indicated that no specimen trees seem to be impacted. Can you comment whether or not any specimen trees would be impacted if the placement of the garage was actually moved back out of the side yard setback?
He said there in that to the side in that area of trees, there were no like significant trees, there were no specimen trees in that area. The specimen trees, if any, are further all the way to the back of the property.
Okay. Thank you. That was my only question.
Also, here's some pictures of the house.
Two sets. They're all together.
It's already built on backfill. It's already built on backfill.
Cute. Here.
This is an interesting picture. Look how they've had the backfill already. How steep that is.
Sorry, you don't have a problem with that. Didn't think you did. At this time, we'd like the applicant to come forward and please present. And if you would state your name and address, we'd certainly appreciate it.
My name is Chris French at 195 Black Rock Trace in Milton, Georgia.
Anita French, 195
present. Are you ready for our comments?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. First off, we put that picture in just to make sure you knew we had two little girls and we had a 78-year-old grandmother. But I just want to thank you guys for the opportunity of being able to speak on our behalf. You know, the truth is that we love Milton. We have loved Milton. We've been here long-term residents since 2003. And the bottom line is that you guys protect our community, and we appreciate that. And we want to thank you guys, regardless of how this goes, for that service each and every week that you do this. We've lived there, as I said, since 2003. We have a business here in the Atlanta area. We have our primary headquarters is right off of North Point Parkway here in Alpharetta. We've enjoyed living in this community. When my brother finished residency, he said, "Where's the best place to live in the Georgia area?" And I said, "Milton." So he came in a mile from our house. The bottom line is that we really appreciate the community that we have around us. We've enjoyed living here, and quite honestly, we had a choice of whether to be able to move to another place, and we said no. We wanted to be able to put more money. We wanted to really have what we wanted out of our house, and that's why we did this additional and quite substantial change to the actual property itself. I currently live there with my wife and two daughters, and my 78-year-old mother is looking to be able to reside there at some future point, which is why we are looking for expansion even beyond that. We're looking to encroach 7 feet into the 25-foot side yard setback, and as has already been spoken previously, we plan to use the same materials in being able to do that. Now, the necessity of the double-sided garage specifically for our family is this. The reason that we needed that width is because bottom line is that we have something that is called a two-car garage, but it's really a one-car garage, because by the time you're able to open the doors and get the groceries out, it's a one-car garage. In addition to that, we have a Escalade ESV, but we can barely get that into that two-car garage in terms of lengthwise. And so it really has created a difficulty for us. What we always intended to do, since we actually came in there and actually started on this particular home, because we did build it ourselves, the situation was that we were looking to be able to have this additional expansion. And the truth is that we need two sides of that garage, as you will see in the plans. One side, we need that width because my mother is going to be able to need that in order to be able to accommodate a vehicle that would have wheelchair access to be able to get her in and out. The other side, or the length of the other side, is specifically because we want to be able to get our ESV in and really be able to get the girls in and out without having to get out of the car. Right now, we are having to park our Escalade in the driveway because we can't get it in the garage. And we want to be able to have a garage where we can actually close the door in inclement weather to be able to allow for the girls to get in and out. And that's essentially, I don't know if you want to talk more about that particular aspect.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the piece that impacts me the most because the girls are little, 1 and 3, so I don't like to leave either one of them by themselves. So carrying both of them, carrying the diaper bag, and if it's raining outside, I have to do it all outdoors, carrying an umbrella and the whole thing, or in the winter, whatever, when it's cold. So the extended length of that one would let me keep the garage door closed and get them in and out of the car seats and move around the car with the garage door closed. There's no way to do that where we are now.
Right. And, I think a big factor that you're looking at is this going to offend the spirit? We understand that there's an ordinance, and we understand why it's there. And we appreciate it, actually. But we truly don't believe that it's going to offend the spirit. The reason that we're needing this is because of the topography. And that's truly our hardship in this particular situation. I mean, we were the first ones to have a contract in that second phase of the subdivision. And we were one of the last houses to go up. The reason for that is because of the topography of our land. And we've given you, we wanted to make sure you guys have those pictures to be able to kind of see what we're talking about. We're talking about a very, very steep, probably the steepest in my subdivision, driveway area to actually be able to build on. And that affects not only obviously the building that we are currently trying to be able to structure, but also the house that was actually created in the first place, which is why it took 15 months to actually be able to build the house to begin with. And that's really what's impacting us in this particular situation. The direction of the house is because of the topography, and that topography is keeping us from really being able to do that. I think the obvious choice, and I assume that you're going to ask me this, I saw this, I didn't come to the first meeting, but I saw it on the video. The question is, why don't you just move it back? And I think that would be the obvious choice. The bottom line is that we want to be able to preserve as much of the natural beauty of our community as possible. And you say, is there a species-specific tree back there? Well, there is a massive oak that would have to come down should we be able to take that back. And I don't know what, to be honest with you, I'm not a builder, and I don't know what species you consider, that is good or bad. It's good to me because, as this guy over here will tell you, I want to preserve everything. I want to preserve every possible tree. I've had arborists come in. When my trees die, I have the arborists come in and do put the little fertilizer all the way around the tree. I'm trying to preserve as much as I possibly can. One of the things we love about our home is that we have deer that come in there every evening, and our girls go crazy and they love it and they think it's just fantastic. We're very much outdoorsy people. That's the reason we moved to Milton in the first place. We want to preserve as much of that as we can. Yes, we can move it back, but it's going to impact us in terms of what we're trying to be able to preserve for that community. And, I think the second question that you're really going to look at is, do we have the support from the community? We absolutely do. The one thing that I did not get, or I didn't hear that was given out, was the letter of support from the Homeowners Association. Not only are the homeowners, is the Homeowners Association in approval of it, but they're supporting us. Not only is Phil and Ann, which are really good friends of ours, which is another reason. We love that community. We love our neighborhood. We just had our last Sunday, we did our Easter egg hunt. This is a great place for us to live. Both of our neighbors are in support of that. They know how much money that we're putting into this. And, the bottom line is that we made a conscious decision that we were going to put this kind of money and really beautify the area. And we just want to be able to do that to the best of our ability. We've had other homeowners in that same subdivision. It's not like we're the only ones. This is tough topography over there. If you've ever been in Redstone subdivision, you know that, honestly, the builders didn't really know what they were doing when they walked into that place. And we were all kind of the guinea pigs of a really tough topography. And so they've had to ask for variances as well, and it's been a tough situation. But they have granted variances to other homeowners that were actually for 18 feet, not the 7 feet that we're looking for. So we feel like that based on the fact that we have the support of the two individuals on both sides of us, we have the support of our overall homeowners association, and we don't believe that it's going to negatively affect the public. We feel like that's going to be something that would be able to be granted to us. If you look at the picture, I just want to make sure you understand kind of what you're looking at here. You'll notice that there's a picture of the other house. Now, this house is actually on the opposite side. I actually took this photo from the back side of our house, looking at that house across the way. He's not going to be affected at all because he's not even going to see the garage itself. What he will actually see is the pool, which has already been graded. But the bottom line is I wanted to show you how far away we're talking about that individual is going to be from any construction, not even talking about the construction of the garage. And then the second photo, this is the individual that is affected. This is Phil. And he was actually willing to come here tonight if I felt like it was necessary in order to be able to show you that he supported me in this process. But I told him I didn't feel like, I hoped that was not necessary. But this is a picture from his driveway, looking at the space where it will be. Now, Phil and I put in those trees. Goodness, I don't even know. Maybe 2005, maybe something like that. You can see what they look like now. Bottom line is that's not going to affect him. He doesn't see it that way, and we obviously have a very good relationship. And he's seen exactly what we're doing. And not only, as I said before, not only is he in approval of this situation, but he is absolutely in support of it. And then, like I told you guys before, the reason I put in that last photo was just to let you know that, just in case you did say, well, did they really have two little girls? Do they really have that 78-year-old mother? Well, there they are at the very last photo. But I just want to, again, like I said, regardless of what you guys decide, I just appreciate the fact that you're continually out here every night, every evening, taking time away from your families in order to actually be able to preserve what we want to preserve as well as homeowners. Is there anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I mean, I think that pretty much covered it. The only points that we know is, I want to make sure that you guys kind of know what you're looking at in the pictures too. That one picture of the hill, I mean, it just shows you kind of the hill that's behind that area. So if we were to move the garage back at all, we'd be cutting into that hill. And the way that our house sits on our lot, it's angled to the left. So the garage is going behind in a corner where no one is really going to see it. I mean, it's just kind of the nature. From the street, you'll barely be able to see it because the house is angled to the left. It's not straight on. So, I don't think it's going to really impact either of our neighbors. Well, those are the pictures that they won't even be able to see that area of our house.
If I may, as well.
Please list your name. Have you filled out a card?
Yes, my name is Willie Medina, and I'm the one that's in charge of building this beautiful structure. The neighbor that we keep talking about to the left of the property, his house is not in line with our house. His house is sitting forward. Their home sits really back on that hill. And so when you say 25-foot setback, there's a 150-foot setback. There's nobody near them. If you look from the side of the garage that way, you're going to see woods. There's nothing there. For you to be able to see the neighbor, you have to turn around and look down the hill. That's where he's at. So there really is no infringement, even though we are coming in there 7 feet. The reality is that this property, this new garage is going to be so far away from the back side of that house, not even the side, but more the back side of the house. There really is no, the law doesn't really even apply in this case as a sideline because there's nobody on their side. It's woods. And part of the job is to create, as Chris mentioned, on the north side of the garage and behind the property, we're creating a nature area for the deer because we are interrupting the path that they were taking before to the feeder and whatever. And so we've relocated that, and we're going to make provision because they do enjoy that part of their yard, and certainly we don't want to take that away. So our intent is not to ruin the benefits of the lot in the way of nature, but rather to enhance it and give them reasonable space for them to live in as relates to the garage. Thank you.
I did want to just mention what he's talking about that you can actually physically see is the picture that was taken there on the side. You can see that it goes directly backwards, and you can see what's out there, and that's essentially, you can't see any houses, it's all woods. And I wanted to just make sure that you guys pointed out. I think that's all we have to say, and I just appreciate your time.
Any questions from the board to the applicant?
Yes, sir.
One question on the septic field. It looks like you're going to be getting into the septic field, but more importantly, you're not showing where your septic tank is. Mm-hmm. And it looks to me like you're going to have to relocate the tank, and then possibly, I don't know if this addition is also going to have a second story to it, which means that there is going to be more bedrooms, which means that there shall be more field line required, because more likely you've got a bathroom also associated with that.
We actually don't, but I'll let Willie talk about that. That is something that has already been addressed, but I'll let Willie.
Okay, great.
Yes, indeed. We've gone to the Environmental Health Department. Part of the bigger picture is that we're putting in a pool in the backyard. And so the septic tank was addressed during that stage where we had to go and do another perk test on the property to show repair on that side of the property. And so we did that. We satisfied all of those requirements. The arborist has been over there. Mark has been over there. We've been working with the city of Milton now for the last 2.5 months, and those guys over there have been very helpful. in guiding me through the process. So we've done all that. We are aware that we may find those field lines, and when we do, we have a letter specifying that we will address it at that time.
Let me restate my comment again. It's not anything more than just a comment, but when you add a bedroom, you're going to have to add additional field lines. So your length of your field line, and even though you had your pool, I'll let you speak, let me speak. So when you add a bedroom, you're going to have to add more field lines. So your length of your field line has to increase. So that's all I caution you, just because of the pool.
Tank.
Well, and I
Well,
appreciate
possibly.
that. And I apologize for interrupting you there. We are not planning to put a bedroom in that area. We made a decision on that just because that's not what we're using that space for. Quite honestly, we have all the bedroom space we need in our main house. And so that's why that particular issue wasn't an issue. But I appreciate you bringing that up, and that would be an issue because that's something that Willie brought to me when we first started the design.
In fact, Wade brought that up to me the first time we met, and we looked at the
Okay.
plans, and he asked exactly what you asked. Are these bedrooms up here? The answer is no. It's a bonus room. It's a play area for the girls.
No problem. When I saw that your
But-
mother might be moving in, my assumption was that there was going to be a bedroom, so that's the reason I made that comment.
Right. Just to answer that question, not that you guys need to, but we are actually, the playroom that we're using right now for the bedroom is going to be my mother's bedroom, and then we're
Okay.
moving the playroom up there. So
Okay.
that's kind of how we're dealing with that.
Didn't understand. Thank you.
Any other questions to the applicant?
So, again, you're adding a bedroom, is what when you change that from a playroom to a bedroom, you're adding a bedroom.
Well, the bedroom is actually part of the main house I'm talking about.
What happens is that, and
I'm sorry.
I'm telling you as a builder,
And I'm not.
to
and I
caution you,
I'm definitely not.
please double check, because when you change that out, you're going to increase your field line like that. It doesn't have anything to do with the zoning, but I'm just cautioning you. Don't let that hit you and all of a sudden you're last minute trying to get things permitted. I'm speaking with a lot of wisdom, so,
We'll definitely keep that in
okay,
mind.
that's all I'm saying. Please
I
be cautious.
appreciate that because you're talking about something that I have no idea what it is. So
Right.
thank you for letting us know that.
Unless you explain it to them like you just did to me, they won't know that, so,
Thank you.
so that's the problem.
As there's no public comment, you do have the opportunity to make any other statements you'd like to make. You don't have to, you can just, whichever you prefer.
I think you understand our position, and we really appreciate your time and consideration.
Any questions to the staff regarding this application from the board? Okay, at this time, we'd like to close the public hearing. You can all have a seat, please. And at this time, we'd open the floor for a motion. Anybody like to make one? Since I can't. Yes, we do. Yes, sir?
Okay, I'm going to make a motion to approve V11-005. This is to basically reduce the side yard setback from 25 feet to 18 feet along the east property line. The reason for this is that I feel that there is a hardship due to topography in that location, as well as generally trying to put a garage near an existing driveway to minimize additional impervious surface. That if they had to move to the other side, they would have to create more impervious surface to create a driveway to access that area, as well as topography on that side falls off. In addition, I feel that this is going to be in harmony with our ordinance, and especially because it's over 400-plus feet away from the street and not impacting other property owners. I'm trying to look for the term.
There wasn't one, was there?
No, but trying to,
Impact neighbors you were looking at?
right, but I was looking for the reasoning of the zoning.
The four of them right here?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You could just say A, B, C, and D.
Yeah, just basically, I think A, B, C, and D is, that there's not going to be any problem with any of the conditions for the variance.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion.
I would just add, not only the topography, but the shape, I think supports the ownership claim.
Glad to modify and add that.
No, it's not, I'm not changing the motion, it's just part of the discussion.
Any other discussion? All in favor of approval, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Let it be known that it passed unanimously. Good luck.
Good luck. We hope things go well for you and your home.
You need to go meet Scott French.
Very thorough job. Thank you.
Yeah,
good job.
terrific job.
You want your pictures back?
Now, was that,
Please, really.
is that a Renner family? Any other business? Anybody like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second it.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion. All in favor, raise your right hand. Same sign.
Bye now.
Over.
Thank
Hey,
you.
take care. Good night. No
No
problem. Good night.
positive comments.